Hello, Creative Gems. Welcome to Creativity.
And if you're a regular viewer, welcome back. Today we're going to be crafting with a number of different cardboard boxes. To start, we're going to take
Two empty tissue boxes and glam each one up with a mirror effect. The first tissue box will be embellished with a silver gift bag like this one. This one from the Dollar Tree has a nice teardrop design. The first step is to use a pair of scissors or box cutter to cut the gift bag into pieces to cover each side of the tissue box. The easiest way is to cut one side of the bag into the biggest piece you can. Then use your tissue box as a template to cut the gift bag to size for each side of the tissue box. And while we work on that, I would like to take a moment to thank all the returning viewers to my channel for tuning in to today's craft project. If you're visiting for the first time, I would like to extend a warm welcome. And if you enjoy glam home decor and DIY crafts on a budget, I would love it if you would support my channel by hitting the subscribe button so you can be notified of my future DIY craft videos. Once each of your pieces are cut to size, it's time to adhere them to the outside of the tissue box. Here I have chosen to use clear tacky glue, which will give a secure hold, but won't cure as quickly as hot glue. That way you have enough time to adjust the positioning of each piece of gift bag. When working each piece, I would recommend to leave the top piece for the last, as it will require some extra finesse to get it to fit properly over the opening where the tissue will come out of. Here you can see there are some gaps on the sides of the tissue box. You want to close those up with a bit of hot glue so the surface of the sides are as flat as possible before you adhere the gift bag pieces over top.
And while we work on that, drop me a note down below with the word box and let me know if you have any tissue box covers or if you have ever made one before. I have seen many pretty ones out there, and there are so many different styles to suit everyone's preferences. Of course, on this channel, I like to bling everything out, so the ones we're making today will be more on the glam side. Having said that, this is the first time I have used gift bags to bling out my tissue boxes, but I felt like the design and silver color of the gift bag I found was so pretty and perfect for this project. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering about the odd lighting today, it's because when working with mirrors and shiny material, the light tends to reflect and cast off dark shadows. I'm not sure what the technical term is for that, but it's something that I wasn't able to find a way to control, so apologies if the lighting seems a bit weird in today's tutorial.
And here's what the box looks like with 5 sides covered so far. When working each side, I would recommend to leave the top piece for last as it will require some extra finesse to get the top piece to fit properly over the opening where the tissue will come out of. I found the easiest way to cut the top piece to shape. Use a piece of tracing paper and place it over the top of the opening. Then, using a marker, carefully trace the round shape of the opening. Next, using your box cutter or a pair of scissors, cut the opening out. For this step, you may want to take your time to ensure that you cut the gift bag into the correct shape of the opening. Once the top piece is cut to shape, it's ready to be secured to the top of the tissue box. Then use some embellishments to frame the opening. Here I'm using a row of silver border sticker gems to create the border. It also serves to camouflage the opening in case the circular opening was not cut perfectly oval or round. Here you can see I'm also applying some rhinestone ribbon for the edges of the tissue box to hide the seams. If you want to know which rhinestone ribbons I'm using, I'll leave a link to my Amazon store down below in the description box.
In fact, I have recently curated a list of my favorite embellishments, as well as a list of budget friendly dollar store alternatives, so be sure to check out those in the description box.
And here is what the tissue box looks like so far with all the seams covered. The box already looks so beautiful and elegant. At this point, you can decide to keep the box as is, or in my case, I will continue to embellish it with some clear teardrop-shaped flat-back gems. If you are satisfied with the way the box looks already though, you can simply skip this step and move on to the final step to build legs for the box.
In the meantime, if you're still with me, drop me a comment down below with the word box so I know you visited today. I would also love to know where you are all from, whether you're from the US, from Canada, somewhere in Europe, in the Caribbean, Asia, Australia, or elsewhere.
To build legs for the box, we will need 4 large diamond-shaped gems available from Dollarama. I will anchor them in the silver ornament caps by inserting one gem into the hole of the cap and securing with some hot glue. Once the 4 legs are created, turn the tissue box upside down so we can secure each leg to the bottom of the box with a little hot glue. The ornament cap should be secured directly to the bottom of the box, one in each corner of the box. And here is the final look for our first tissue box. I'll show you later how to get the tissues inside the box. For our second tissue box, we are going to use this mirrored paper. The reason we are using this mirrored paper instead of real mirrors is because I could not find mirror tiles that were the exact size I needed for the tissue box, and it was too difficult for me to try and cut the mirror pieces to size. This mirrored paper is so easy to work with because you can cut it to size simply with a pair of scissors or box cutter. To begin, take one piece of the paper and trace the shape of the tissue box. Here I started with the largest side first. Then, just as we did earlier, we're going to use some tracing paper to trace out the oval shape of the opening. Once we have all the pieces cut, it's time to use some tacky glue to adhere each piece to the exterior of the tissue box. Since this mirror paper does not have any design or pattern to it, I'm finding the tissue box looking a little plain. So we are going to take more of that beautiful rhinestone ribbon and adhere the ribbon to the seams of the tissue box. This time I'm choosing a much wider piece for each seam.
By the way, if you're still with me, drop me a note with the word box so I know you visited.
Here I'm embellishing the opening of the tissue box by adding a row of really pretty border pearl and gem stickers to create a frame around the opening. And the final step is to add some legs to this tissue box to give it some height. This time I have chosen some small mirrored ornament balls I found at the dollar store. These ones look like mini disco balls. I will snip off the string from each and then use some hot glue to adhere each onto the bottom of the tissue box, one on each corner of the box. And here's the final look for our second Glam tissue box. It looks absolutely gorgeous, even better in person. I'm going to show you how to insert a stack of tissues into each box now. You'll notice I'm wearing gloves on the hand that I'm using to insert the tissues with. That is so we can keep everything nice and sanitary. See how easy and quick it was to insert the stack of tissue. And the good news is now you have yet another empty tissue box you can craft with.
Comment down below with the word box and let me know which tissue box cover you like best. In the meantime,
We're going to transform an old shoe box into a gorgeous, glamorous keepsake box that you will want to show off to all your family and friends. To help us out with today's craft project, we will also need some additional materials available from either Dollar Tree or Dollarama. The materials include a rectangular mirror. This one comes with a frame and measures slightly smaller than the shoebox that we will be using. If your shoebox is smaller, you can opt for some frameless mirror tiles instead. We will also be using some dollar store craft paper. You can choose any design that you prefer. Mine will be a silver and gray zigzag design. I also picked up some silver glitter shelf liner. This one is a peel and stick version, and this other one is a thicker fabric version that will require some glue to adhere. We will also need some ribbon. I've chosen this rhinestone ribbon I found on Amazon, as well as these dollar store ribbon commonly used to wrap gifts during the holidays. For extra embellishments, I picked up some ornament S-hooks found in the holiday section of the local dollar store. We will also be using some of these loose flat back gems. This container was purchased from Hobby Lobby and will likely last me for many years to come. To begin, we are going to work on the inside of the shoebox by measuring out some craft paper to line the inside of the box. If you don't have any craft paper on hand, you could also opt for some felt fabric or shelf liner.
contact paper would also work very well for this project, and you should be able to find a good assortment of designs and colors either at Dollar Tree or online.
When applying the craft paper, you'll notice that I have chosen to use white glue instead of hot glue. The reason for this is that the hot glue is much thicker and will dry in clumps, but with white glue it is much thinner and you can use a foam brush to smooth out the glue out before applying the craft paper. This will ensure that when things dry, you will not have unsightly raised bumps. You'll notice here that when I measured out the craft paper, it is still not wide enough to cover the entire width of the box inside. So, to cover the exposed box area, I will be applying some silver glitter ribbon. Once you are satisfied with the inside of the box, close the box with the lid and we'll work on beautifying the outside of the box. You'll see here that I've chosen some silver glitter fabric. This fabric is thicker than regular paper and will provide a smooth surface around the outside of the box for when we place our mirror. It took me a while to figure out the best way to measure out the fabric to minimize the number of seams that I will have to cover up. With this glitter fabric, it requires glue. You'll notice that I will be using a combination of hot glue and white glue. The reason for the hot glue is because it dries very quickly and works very well with thicker material. Since this silver glitter fabric is very thick, I'm using a very tiny amount of hot glue to anchor the end of the glitter fabric before adhering the rest of the fabric to the box with white glue. I still want to use white glue for adhering this glitter fabric to avoid any unwanted bumps created by dry hot glue. And you can see here, once again, I'm using a foam brush to smooth out the white glue before applying the glitter fabric. And you will see in a moment that the glitter fabric is not quite wide enough to cover the entire width of the box. So I have to cut a separate strip of glitter fabric to cover the remaining exposed area of the box. But don't worry about the seam. With the glitter, the seam will be practically invisible. You'll also notice that as I work the outside of the box, that I'm using two types of silver glitter paper. For the side flaps of the box, I have opted for the peel and stick version. This will give some contrast to the box as the peel and stick version is a lighter silver than the fabric version. And when covering the box, you can opt to leave the bottom uncovered since it will be sitting flat on the table surface. But if your shoebox happens to be unsightly, it may be a good idea to cover the bottom as well. Once the outside of the box is covered to your liking, it's time to apply the mirror onto the top cover of the box. Here you can see I have removed the frame from the mirror and I will apply the mirror directly to the top of the box. To ensure that the mirror is firmly secured to the box, I have chosen to apply some Fix-All, which will offer a more secure, long-lasting hold. I also chose Fix-All over hot glue because I want to ensure that my mirror lays as flat as possible on the box surface. In the past, I have made the mistake of using hot glue to adhere mirrors to a surface, and because the hot glue tends to dry in clumps, the mirror was not sitting flat on the surface, and there were large unsightly gaps between the mirror and the surface that it was lying on. While the glue cures, we are going to work on covering the seams all around the edges of the box. I have chosen to use this silver pearl wrap ribbon as it is easy to work with. It is beautiful and will camouflage the edges very nicely.
If you're still with me, drop me a comment with the word box and let me know if you have ever crafted with your empty shoe boxes before. And if you have, let me know what you made with them. Some ideas I would like to try next would be to make a jewelry box, a box to hold my family recipes, or a box to store old photos and cards.
You'll see as we work through all the seams that by covering them, it really gives it a nice clean touch. This silver ribbon is so easy to use, and you can choose to use however many rows of pearls as you prefer. With the seams all covered, we are going to turn our attention to the mirror again. Without the frame, the mirror is looking quite plain, so we are going to apply some rhinestone ribbon to create a new frame all around the mirror. This rhinestone ribbon already comes with a sticky backing, so no additional glue is required. The nice thing about this ribbon also is that it is rather flexible and can be molded and adjusted to the shape you desire. And here is what the box looks like so far. The top and the sides look amazing, and the lid opens and closes easily. And here I'm reinserting the rope handle, which will make the box very portable. I felt like the box still needed more embellishments to amp up the glam factor, so I'm going to add some additional embellishments by applying these clear, round, flat back gems. This step, of course, is optional, but if you know me, the more bling, the better. And as a finishing touch, we're going to use some clear tacky glue to apply these beautifully shaped silver ornament as hooks. You can apply them in any pattern you prefer, using as many or as few as hooks as you like. And here is the final look for our shoebox, transformed into a one-of-a-kind mirrored keepsake box. Comment down below
with the word box.
and let me know what you would store in this box. Would you put your favorite jewelry inside, or perhaps some old family pictures? or place it on your kitchen counter so you can store your family recipes.
In the meantime, let's continue with our next cardboard box craft.
First, we will need an empty cardboard box. The one I'll be using is a large rectangular sturdy cardboard box. You can see it was used to package my bulk order of coffee pods. We will also need some square mirrors. Mine are beveled and measure 5 by 5. We will also be using one silver rectangular charger plate, a silver door handle, and one rectangular picture frame. This one holds three 4 by 6 pictures. To begin, take the cardboard box and using an X-Acto knife, carefully remove one of the top flaps. Keep the other one intact though. Then, paint the box to cover the original design and words on the box. There is no need to paint the middle portion of each side as that is where we will be placing the square mirrors.
But if you prefer to, that's okay too. We'll fast forward this painting portion so we can get to the next step.
Next, measure and cut pieces of the silver glitter fabric or whatever fabric you have chosen. These pieces will be used to line the inside of the box. Here you can see I'm applying some white glue, and then I will spread the glue with a foam brush. This will ensure that we don't have lumps when the glue dries. I'll continue to repeat this until the bottom and all four sides of the interior of the box is lined with fabric. Next, I have selected some silver mesh ribbon to cover the edges of the inside of the box. Since the mesh ribbon is pretty thick, I'll be using some small amounts of hot glue to apply it to the box. Next, I measure and cut out two more pieces of the same silver glitter fabric to cover the left and right flaps of the box. Make sure to apply the fabric to the inside flap. And we also use the same silver mesh ribbon to cover the edges. For the exterior portion of the left and right flaps, we will be applying the silver mesh ribbon to the entire flap. While we allow all the glue to dry, let's work on the mirrors. Due to the size of my box, I'll be using a total of 8 square mirrors. The first step is to prepare the mirrors by turning each upside down and using an X-Acto knife, carefully scrape off the felt legs from each of the four corners. We will adhere our first mirror to the box with the smallest side. The mirror will be placed right in the center using a combination of Fix-All and hot glue. Once the mirror is secured in place, take some silver mesh ribbon of your choice and cut to size pieces to frame each of the four sides of the mirror. Then repeat the same steps for the other side of the box. This is what the box with the mirror should look like so far. For the two larger sides of the box, we will apply 3 mirrors to the center. Lay out the 3 mirrors and make sure you know where to position them, and then flip each of them over and apply a combination of Fix-All and hot glue to each. I recommend to secure your first mirror in the center and then add the other two either side of the first mirror. That way you can ensure that they are placed evenly in the center. And here you can see I have chosen to not leave any spaces between the mirrors. And just as we did before, use the same silver mesh ribbon, cut to size pieces to frame the mirror. Once this side is done, repeat the same steps for the other side as well.
And if you're still with me, drop me a note in the comments section with a board box and let me know if you like to keep the boxes that your packages come in for crafting. For me, it's the Amazon boxes that my online orders come in, and also any of the groceries we buy in bulk.
Next, upon investigating the box closely, I see some exposed cardboard box. So, to clean up the flaps and edges of the box further, I apply a thin strip of rhinestone ribbon along the edges where you can still see the cardboard box exposed. These are the small details that will help really upscale your box. Our next step is to take the silver charger plate, turn it upside down, and apply a combination of Fix-All and hot glue to the bottom, and then affix it securely to the bottom of our box. Make sure to place the charger plate in the center. This charger plate will give our box some height so that it doesn't sit flat directly onto the table surface. Once the plate is securely placed to the bottom of the box, let it sit for a while to allow the glue to cure. In the meantime, we can work on creating a lid for our box. For this, we will be cutting out 3 pieces of our craft paper and inserting them into the picture frame. You will see here that I also applied a row of mini mirror tiles to the front border of the picture frame as well. This step is optional, but I thought the extra mirror tiles would match nicely to the larger mirrors on the box. To further embellish the picture frame, we will be applying the chrome trim to the sides of the picture frame. For this, peel the backing from the chrome trim and apply the trim directly onto the sides of the frame. The trim already comes in sticker format, so there's no need to apply any glue unless you want some extra hold. Once the chrome trim is applied all around the frame, then remove the blue film to reveal the chrome trim. Once the frame is fully embellished to your liking, it's time to adhere it to the top opening of the box. Turn the picture frame upside down and apply a combination of Fix-All and hot glue. The Fix-All glue will provide a long-term secure hold, while the hot glue will provide near immediate hold. You will see here that I will be adhering the picture frame to the top flap with the other half of the frame not adhere to anything. And this is what our box should look like so far. But we're not done yet. Just like we did before, we will open the box and go in to apply a thin strip of rhinestone ribbon to the edge of the top cardboard flap where the cardboard is still exposed. Once that is done, close the top down to the box and position the silver door handle to the center of the picture frame. For extra glam, you can see here that I am applying some clear rhinestone gem stickers to the handle. The extra bling will really make the box look exquisite. And here is the final look for our mirrored keepsake box. We went from an empty cardboard box that would have otherwise been discarded and transformed it into an exquisite looking storage box that is both beautiful and functional.
Comment down below with the word box and let me know what you would store in this big, beautiful, blinged out box.
And where you would place it. What would you recommend to store in this beautiful box? If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel and share with other creative gems.
In the meantime, stick around and check out some of my other glam home decor crafts.